Hey everyone, welcome to Movie Watch. I'm your watcher Steve, and today I will be giving you my review of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Please be aware though that this review will contain spoilers for the movie, as I will be doing a brief breakdown of the plot. So if you haven't seen it yet, you have been warned. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is the 7th film in the franchise and is the first of a 2-part story. The film is directed by Christopher McQuarrie and follows Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt on another world-threatening adventure. With him on the journey and reprising their roles are Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn, Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle, and Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust, with Hayley Atwell joining them as the mysterious Grace. The film centers around an artificial intelligence that has become self-aware and threatens the security of all the world's intelligence agencies and the lives of everyone on the planet. Of course, though, because we're all stupid, instead of destroying it, each intelligence agency decides that it would be better to control it, thus creating a race to find the key to controlling it, as the nation that controls the AI effectively controls the world. Thankfully though, Ethan and his team have more sense and decide to track down and destroy it. So, it's Ethan and his team against the rest of the world. Their journey takes them through multiple countries, including Abu Dhabi, where they first meet Hayley Atwell's Grace, who we quickly find out is a professional thief. She's not just a pretty face either, as she manages to give Ethan and his team the slip and heads to Rome, where the trouble really begins, as it's there that they run into some not-so-friendly strangers with guns who work for the AI. They manage to escape though, and yet again, Grace slips through Ethan's fingers. But, in his defense, he was handcuffed at the time. But they track her down in Venice, where she is there to make a deal to sell her half of the key that they need. Everything goes wrong there though, as the entity, which is what they like to call the AI, is steps ahead of them and tricks the team and takes down one of the members for good. With the remaining team full of emotion over the loss of their friend, they carry on for the greater good and head for the Orient Express, where a sale for both halves of the key is going down. Events transpire involving guns, knives, motorbikes and parachutes, as well as a runaway train and betrayal. But eventually, Ethan and the remainder of his team are successful in obtaining the key they need. But the story is only half over, as the hard bit is yet to come, because they still have to track down and destroy the AI, which I guess we will have to wait until next year for. The story is very much incomplete in this one. After all, it is only the first part. There is still a lot at stake for Ethan as well as the rest of the world, so to find out how it all ends, we just have to wait. And that's a brief rundown of the events of the movie. A lot happens in this one that I haven't told you, so if you want to know what else happens in the film, you'd better go see it if you haven't already. Tom Cruise is just as good as ever in this one, and as you would expect, the action does not disappoint, with various sequences showcasing the caliber of stunt coordination you would expect in a Mission Impossible film. I have to say though, personally, I thought Hayley Atwell shone the brightest in this one. She didn't take away from Cruise at all. I just really enjoyed her character the most and thought Grace was a great addition to the story. Her character brought a bit of humour to the film and also seemed the most realistic, as there were moments where she struggled with certain things that I'm sure we could all relate to. I always enjoy Simon Pegg as Benji, and this time is no different. Nothing has really changed here with his character, as he's still like the voice of reason in the group. And the same can be said for Ving Rhames as Luther. I always find his character to be like a wise old sage, and I think this is especially the case in this film. I've always enjoyed the group dynamic between the characters of Benji, Luther and Ethan, and I'm happy to report they're just as good as ever. The CGI is great too, and the choreography for the fight scenes was excellent. There wasn't a single moment where I was taken out of the film because of bad graphics or editing, which unfortunately I can't say for other films lately. Looking at you, Flash. And overall, I really enjoyed the story. I liked their take on the AI situation. There was one scene in particular with Benji and a bomb that the AI had organised that really showcased how cold and ruthless it could be. It was probably my favourite scene from the movie, actually. You're in suspense the whole way through. And surprisingly, at times, I found the movie was quite funny too, as there were a couple of times I had a bit of a laugh, especially the car chase scene in Rome with Ethan and Grace. This could be another reason why I thought Hayley Atwell shone the brightest, as I found her scenes were the most humorous and in a way the most down to earth. But it isn't a perfect film. There was quite a bit of weight on a new character, Gabriel, who is a terrorist working for the entity. Midway through the film, we're told Ethan has a past with him and that it ended with the death of a girl who Ethan was close to. But to be honest, I thought it was a flimsy relationship. We're given a couple of scenes from the past that are meant to pull on the heartstrings, but for me at least, it didn't do anything for me. I didn't care for the relationship at all. I think we needed more time to see the relationship that they once had. The movie tries to get us to hate Gabriel for what he did, and we're meant to feel how badly Ethan wants revenge on him, but I didn't. I could see what they were going for, but I personally thought that they fell flat. Don't get me wrong, I thought the acting was great from both Tom Cruise and Esai Morales, who played Gabriel. I just think they needed to put more time into the relationship that they once had. But it is a long movie already, so I can understand why that didn't happen. I also struggled a bit with the relationship between Ethan and Ilsa, as the two seemed to have a bit of a romance or cared for each other as more than friends, which I know they alluded to in the previous film, but again, it didn't do anything for me. I thought that their relationship needed more work too. And it also felt like Ilsa was put on the back burner a bit. I didn't think we really got much from her in this one, and it would have been good to get more from her, I think. By no means, though, is it a bad film. I would 100% watch it again. I might even go back to see it in the theatre. It's definitely worth checking out. But just remember, if you haven't seen it yet, you will have to wait for the second part of the story, as it's very much incomplete. So if that's something you struggle with, maybe don't check it out just yet. I wouldn't say I was jumping out of my seat to see the next film, but I am eager to see where it goes from here, and I will definitely be buying a ticket when it comes out in June next year. But that's all from me this time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown and review of Mission Impossible 7. Thanks for tuning in.